Alright, what's going on everybody? It's Dr. Apolly. I haven't uploaded a serious video in about a month now. I haven't really uploaded that many serious videos this year at all, actually. I've been pretty lazy this year. It's already April, and I've been pretty lazy on these uploads. I gotta get working on that. Anyway, my top 18 starter Pokemon video is gonna be dropping in the middle of May. I know all of you guys want to see that video. It's my most viewed video on my channel. Actually, one of my most viewed videos. I think it has like 20,000 views now. It's getting a lot of views as of lately, even though I uploaded it like a year ago. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, it's gonna be a really good video. I can't wait to upload that video and get that all done. Anyway, let's get this thing started.
What is a pseudo-legendary?
Pseudo-legendary Pokemon is a fan term used to refer to Pokemon from each generation to have a 3-stage evolution line and a base stat total of exactly 600. There is only one pseudo-legendary per generation with the exception of Generation 3. Pseudo-legendary Pokemon are often the most powerful non-legendary Pokemon in the generation, not only due to their high base stats, but also their powerful abilities. As the result of their high base stat and powerful abilities, pseudo-legendaries run the competitive metagame. With all this taken into account, there's no surprise that these Pokemon are fan favorites. So much that I decided to make a list of my own favorites. Note, these are my favorites, not necessarily the best, but my favorites. So if you disagree, feel free to leave your top 7 down below. And with all that being said, here are my top 7 favorite pseudo-legendary Pokemon. Now when I think of an all-powerful badass dragon type, never do I think of Goodra. In fact, I forgot this thing even existed before making this video. The fact of the matter is that Goodra doesn't have anything that stands out to me. Its ability is pretty good, but its stat distribution sucks. But most of all, its design is trash. I mean literally trash. Whoever decided to spit on the ground and turn into a Pokemon to be slime or something, which is also nasty, but to me it looks more like spit. I mean, look at this. It looks like someone spat on the ground a bunch of times and turned it into a Pokemon. We have garbage, we have ice cream, and we even have keychains now. Let's add saliva. In my opinion, this Pokemon's design is so bad, it makes Garbodor's design look bearable. Goodra's Pokedex entry states that it attacks with retractable horns. It throws punches that are equivalent to the force of 100 pro boxers. Yeah, okay, why is your attack only 100? And why is your special attack way more than your attack? That makes a lot of sense. Like I said, Goodra has poor stat distribution. It has decent attack, good special attack, but poor defense and speed, which in my opinion do not make up for its high special defense. For most Pokemons, whether you give it great attack and speed, or great defense and HP, no other combination really works with the exception of some Pokemon. Goodra specializes in its special attack and special defense, and just has average everything else. Most fast Pokemon with decent attack can usually kill it. Not to hate on Goodra, or call it a bad Pokemon, but compared to the other pseudo-legendaries in its competition, yeah, it's pretty bad. Tyranitar is a Pokemon that makes me go, meh, anytime I see it. Tyranitar's got a badass design, great stats, and everything else is just okay with me. But I personally don't like using it in competitive. The way you're supposed to use Tyranitar in competitive just does not click with me. I just don't like using Tyranitar in competitive. It just does not work with me. With Tyranitar, you gotta take hits and retaliate those hits back even harder, kind of like how counter works, but not really. I personally don't like that Pokemon. He's defensive, yet he's offensive. He can be a setup Pokemon, and he can be a sweeper. Kind of like the Pokemon doesn't really know what it wants to be. But with a huge focus on power and bulk, Tyranitar suffers a lot of speed, making it the slowest pseudo-legendary. But overall, Tyranitar's alright with me. I mean, he's okay. I don't really like him. I don't really hate him either. His Mega Evolution is just looks so lazy. I mean, it looks like a 5-year-old just drew a bunch of squiggly lines on Tyranitar and said, "Daddy, it's a Pokemon." And Dad's like, "Fuck it, it's a Mega Pokemon. Good for you, son. You made a Mega Pokemon." And that's pretty much how the Mega Evolution went. I'm pretty sure that seems pretty accurate to me. To be honest with you, I have the same opinions with Garchomp as I do with Tyranitar. It's got a badass design, good stats, and everything else is just meh. Although the reason Garchomp topped over Tyranitar was because Garchomp actually knows what type of Pokemon it wants to be. Tyranitar has some weird mix of attack and defense, making it some sort of weird Pokemon that's like a sweeper yet a setup. And it's just a clusterfuck. Tyranitar's stats are just a clusterfuck in my opinion. But Garchomp knows its place. It knows what type of Pokemon it wants to be. It knows it's a fast sweeper, and it excels at that. Garchomp has 102 speed, which just edges over most of the fast Pokemon in the game with 100 speed like Charizard and Salamence, making Garchomp a really weird and hard Pokemon to actually counter because most fast Pokemon are at 100 speed like I said before, Salamence and Charizard. But since Garchomp has 102 speed, it outspeeds them and just outrages them or stone edges them or whatever move you have on your Garchomp. Not only that, but Garchomp is surprisingly bulky, making him, again, a very hard Pokemon to counter. The only stat Garchomp really lacks in is special attack, but it doesn't really need it to be honest with you. Garchomp's Mega Evolution though, that never happened. Metagross is a Baus. Metagross is a really cool design and a very versatile move pool. It's got an amazing color scheme and it's probably my favorite shiny Pokemon. Competitively, Metagross isn't all that good. It's kind of just like a worse version of Tyranitar, and as you guys know, I don't really know how to use Tyranitar in battle. I always think I need to like put Crunch or Pursuit on it, and then I put like Stone Edge and then like Stealth Rocks, and then it usually just comes in there, gets Stealth Rocks, and just leaves because I just don't know how to use the Pokemon. But with Metagross, the reason it tops so high on this list is because in Pokemon Blaze Black 2, which is a Pokemon ROM hack for Pokemon Black and White 2, I caught a Metagross, and that just ended the entire game for me. I just leveled it up a whole bunch along with my other Pokemon, and Metagross just did work. Especially in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Metagross also just did work. So I have a lot of memories of Metagross just kicking at gym leaders' asses and all that, so that's, you know, the main reason why it's so high on this list. Another reason, and a really good reason, is because Metagross is easily the most unique pseudo-legendary. First of all, Metagross is not an animal, or whatever that is, like the other pseudo-legendaries are. It appears to be more of a robotic life form. Most pseudo-legendaries, they wreck with some ridiculous special attack or attack stat and some Draco Meteor or Outrage. Metagross don't rock like that. In fact, Metagross is the only pseudo-legendary that can't learn a dragon move. In fact, Metagross is so unique it doesn't even share any type with any of the pseudo-legendaries. I'm personally not a big fan of Metagross's Mega Evolution. It was cool when I first saw it, but now it just looks kind of weird to be honest. But overall, Metagross is easily the most unique pseudo-legendary. When one of those ignorant Gen 1ers walks up to me and says Pokemon is running out of ideas, I say, fuck you, cause you have clearly not seen the badass that is Hydreigon. This three-headed Hydra is what made Pokemon Black and White not completely suck. Hydreigon looks so badass. I mean, he's probably the best designed 5th gen Pokemon, or one of the best designed Pokemon out there. Besides maybe Scrafty or Darmanitan, because for 5th gen at least, I love those Pokemon's design, they're so cool. The point is that Hydreigon is such a badass looking Pokemon, man, like with his 3 heads, and they're all like coming out and using fire blasts on you. It's so cool, man. Hydreigon is such a cool Pokemon. I love its design. I think most people can relate to me when I say that its design is just so cool. Like, look at it. It is the definition of a badass Pokemon. Oh my goodness. Its stats, its move pool, I don't really care about any of that stuff. I just love Hydreigon's design. Like, anytime I play a Pokemon game, like, casually, just to have, like, you know, have a good old classic adventure, I always pick up a Hydreigon, because it's so cool. I don't care for it competitively at all. I think it's one of the worst competitive Pokemon, but it is so cool. Just something about like its 3 heads and like the wings around it. Everything about it just looks so cool. But when Getsus came in with that underleveled Hydreigon, oh my god, you already know shit was about to get real. You already know your team was about to get bopped right there. Too bad, you know, 6th gen came along and Fairy type kind of just bopped this thing right out, and yeah, it's kind of not really that good anymore, but either way, I still love Hydreigon. We're bringing it back to the OG pseudo-legendary, the one that started it all. Yeah, I'm talking about OG Dragonite. Dragonite is a beast just about any way you look at it. Dragonite, being the very first pseudo-legendary, has very straightforward yet well-rounded stats. Dragonite has the traditional high attack stat and above average stats everywhere else. It has the ability Multi-Scale, which is quite possibly the best ability out of all the pseudo-legendaries. But the main reason Dragonite made it this high on the list was because of the memories. Charizard, Jolteon, and Dragonite were the only 3 Pokemon I really got attached to in my Pokemon Fire Red file, and the only 3 Pokemon I really used. So right now I may sound like a Dragonite tard, but it's really just because of the nostalgia I have with like running around with my Dragonite and kicking people's butts with my Dragonite. That's mainly the reason it's even here, because of the memories. It's not really because of the stats and the abilities, which are very good, but it's mainly because of the memories. So that's mainly why Dragonite is number 2 on this list. Number 1 is the big dog himself. One of my favorite Pokemon of all time. Yeah, it's obviously Salamence. If you've been paying attention to the video and you've been keeping track and eliminating the pseudo-legendaries I haven't talked about, it's Salamence. Salamence is the greatest pseudo-legendary there is. Like, honestly, Salamence has the best stats, the best move pool, the second greatest design next to Hydreigon, and the second greatest ability next to Dragonite. You have no idea how many teams I've swept with this Salamence, just getting out and just taking out the steel. I can take out their steel Pokemon first, and after that I just use Outrage and just completely wreck everyone else in their team, because no one else can counter this beast, really. And then when he got a Mega Evolution, ho ho ho, I was so hyped. You know how much I love Salamence. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know how much I love Salamence. And as soon as he got Mega Evolution, I was just jumping out of my chair. I was so happy. Oh my goodness.
Salamence got a Mega Evolution. Salamence. My boy Salamence. Salamence gets a Mega Evolution. Oh my gosh.
Salamence's Mega Evolution, it looks so cool. People say they don't like the design, but I think it looks so cool. It has such great stats, and it just balls out everyone, and it just wrecks everything. Everyone dies. I'm pretty sure Dragonite would have topped above Salamence if it weren't for Salamence's Mega Evolution, but he has one, and it's so good. Oh my gosh, I love Salamence so much. You guys have no idea the amount of love I have for this Pokemon. It all started in Black and White when Salamence first got his Dream Mode ability, Moxie. I thought that was like the coolest thing, because Scrafty had it, and some other Pokemon had it, I don't remember. But then Salamence had it, and I just personally thought that was the coolest ability ever, just getting stronger every time you kill someone. And with this Mega Evolution, he just got a whole lot faster, a whole lot more defensive, and got a whole lot more attack. And now Salamence is in the Ubers tier, so nobody can argue that Salamence isn't the greatest, most powerful pseudo-legendary there is. I want to thank everyone for watching this video. It took a long time to make, as usual. You already know I say it's like every single video, but whatever. I want to thank everyone for 4,000 subscribers. That's a huge milestone, especially for me. It's a channel that's getting out there and trying to grow himself. And some people actually got mad at me because I didn't actually script my top 18 starter Pokemon video. I scripted this video for the most part, except for Hydreigon and Salamence. Those are the only Pokemon. Those are the only two I didn't actually script, but every other Pokemon was scripted, and I think I wrote a good script. And for the top 18 starter Pokemon casual, I'm definitely going to script it because I think it makes the video a lot better and more presentable. Anyway, top 18 starter Pokemon casual video is coming out sometime in the middle of May. I'll upload that as soon as it's done. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!